Hey, it's Tom Sinclair, your chief idiot here. Time for another episode of Streaming Idiots. That's right, the idiots are back and back with a vengeance. Going to be a great show. We'll be right there. Yeah, it's funny how things work out, you know? I was like, oh, I'm going to make this kind of easy, nice transition. And no. It didn't work like that at all. But hey, I'm Tom Sinclair. I'm the streaming idiot. It is obvious I am the idiot today, isn't it? It is to me. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you that are watching live and folks that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll send you a note via the YouTube, whatever YouTube does, and let you know when we've got something posted. Streaming Idiots are recorded live on Wednesday afternoons and then are uploaded and available on YouTube on Friday evenings, or actually sometimes Friday mornings. It just depends on when we can get to it, but generally on Fridays. But if you'd like a sneak peek at Streaming Idiots, then you can go to our website, easternshorебroadcasting.com, and sign up for the list, and we'll send you the link in advance so you get to watch. I mean, not that it's any kind of big deal, but if you want to watch the show early, sign up for the list, and we'll send you a note and tell you that it's uploaded and ready to go. That'll probably be sometime tonight. And we also use that, and just, full disclosure, we use that email list to let folks know about what's going on with us. If we've got a show that's a different time, or we have to make a time change or something like that, we'll use that list to notify folks, as well as Twitter and Facebook and things on our webpage. More full disclosure, I am an authorized reseller for really cool stuff like VidBlaster and vMix. And we also have an Amazon relationship, so we have a lot of Amazon products. You can see all about these on our website, easternshorебroadcasting.com, in the store. The vMix is actually going to have a price increase sometime in March. It's going to go up about 15% maybe. So if you're thinking about making a purchase, now's the time. vMix is offering a 10% discount, and we're honoring that in our store. So I don't think our store price is reflected right now. I'll have to work on that. But if you're interested, let me know, and we'll shoot you an invoice. You can pay that directly and get the deal done. So enough of that stuff. Streaming Idiots, the concept is that streaming is a lot of fun. And, you can make mistakes and look like an idiot indeed. And today was a good example. Always seem to have a good example for that for you guys. Playing with some new hardware, software today. In fact, I'm going to tell you more about that. But I was trying to get some shots set up, and and I ended up with just crazy shots that just didn't work out. Let's see if I can get this back where it was. This is a shot that I was trying to set. And this is a device I'll tell you about in just a minute. And you can see the corner of the table leg where I've got the camera mounted. That shot did not work out at all. So but don't hesitate to try stuff. I mean, you're not going to know what works until you find out what doesn't work, and until you stumble through and figure it all out. We were talking last week about how important it is to know your equipment, because to know its limitations and to know its capabilities. Because when you get into a jam and something's not working right, you'll know exactly where to go to fix it. I think I used the example of, maybe the autofocus getting all of a sudden set back up on one of your cameras when you had it set on fixed focus. And you need to know how to do that, and how to do that quickly. But don't hesitate to experiment, because that's how you find out cool stuff. And you may be the first person to find out some cool stuff that nobody else has ever figured out. And it's always fun to have those kind of discoveries, and then to be able to share them with folks all over the internet. Charles, I'm working on my ums, I promise. The vMix has released a new version. It's in beta, vMix 15. And the big change in vMix 15 is a new, built from the ground up, instant replay system. The instant replay system has already been configured so that it can be used with a separate controller. And that separate controller is something that is pretty easy to get to. In fact, I've got one right here. Let's see if I can put it up and show it to you guys. It is a Contour ShuttlePro version 2. And if I turn it right side up, I guess you could see where it said ShuttlePro V2. And it's got all sorts of programmable buttons here across the top. It has got a wheel that will turn backwards and forwards, and it's spring-loaded to bring it back to the center, and then a jog in the middle, and then 4 more dedicated buttons down here, and then dedicated buttons on either side. The buttons at the top, actually the caps come off, and it gives you some pre-printed labels that you can put up underneath there, as well as some blank labels so you can print your own so that you know what those functions are. It connects to the PC via this 6-foot long cord that is USB, and will go USB 2 as well as USB 3. And it was about $100, I think. I think I got this one on Amazon. It's new. You can find them on eBay, but they're not discounted. I think you do want to be careful that you make sure you get the version 2 ShuttlePro, excuse me, and you want to get the one that's in this configuration. There are some other versions of this that preceded this, but this is the one that vMix is recommending for the vMix instant replay. We will be reviewing the instant replay process on vMix in an upcoming show as we have time to sit down and play with it and get to use it. But it's going to be fun to have a dedicated controller for that because, you know, as anything else, once you get into the hang of something and you know where all the buttons are by heart, and you can it just becomes an extension of your body. And looks like we're getting some chat about that in the chat room, so that's good. Yeah, if you join us live, you can join us in chat, and we will talk about all sorts. In fact, they'll talk about all sorts of stuff in chat that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, but that's okay. Coming up, and we have just started a new project, and the project is a portable, or what we might call luggable, PC. This is something that I bought off of eBay last week. It originally was built in 2001 by a company called Pinnacle Systems. It is and it's called Stream Genie. It was designed to be used as one of the very first streaming machines. Back before TriCaster. In fact, this may have been where TriCaster got the idea about it. It has very rugged. It's got rubber corners. It's got reinforced sides. You can see it's got a monitor in the middle and a keyboard. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more on the back side there. I wanted you to see all the peripherals that were attached to it on the back. Well, it's going to be too dark of a picture to do that. But suffice to say that there were not very many ways that you could connect this guy. Cameras were not going to be high definition, and it was probably a great first effort. You know, is what it was. It was a great first effort by the folks at Pinnacle Systems to do this. And just like anything else, Pinnacle Systems was sort of the first one out of the box, at least so far as I can tell, with this dedicated system. And they blazed a trail for the guys at TriCaster, essentially is what they did. And then TriCaster came up with a better mousetrap, and the rest is history. We have been in the process of sort of, I guess you would call gutting the case. And so we've ended up with this is my kitchen table, with a bunch of peripherals there. Not peripherals, but piece parts. 3.5-inch drive, some hard drives, a DVD drive, power supplies, all sorts of crud, including a really cool motherboard. The motherboard was, and I'm going to have to go off a chroma key for this one because the motherboard's green. But the motherboard is a monster. Look at the size of this guy. It is an extended ATX version, except for the little cutout here. It would be a traditional extended ATX version. It's got dual processors, Pentium 3s. So back in its day, it was a screamer. Had lots of PCI ports, and whatever the generation of ports was before that, and really cool. Lots of I/O there, and 2 USB ports. Cutting edge stuff here, those USB ports. But it had everything you needed. And it came out of that PC. Let's get to where that is. There we go. It came out of the PC along with all the other stuff. And what it left was a shell. And so that's going to be sort of the starting point for this project. The connections for the motherboards are fairly universal and seem to be in this case. So we're going to put a standard ATX motherboard in there. I've got an i7-2600K CPU, so we'll probably reuse that. So I've ordered an LGA 1155 motherboard for it, and I think we can zoom in a little bit, and you can see there is a connector in the case. Actually, yeah, there towards the left side, you can see the little white connector, and that's a 4-pin power connector, and that 4-pin power connector powers the monitor. So it will be interesting as we play with this to see how that works, and whether we'll be able to use the existing monitor or whether we'll need to replace the monitor within the case itself. You never know when you get into these projects what kind of modifications you're going to have to make in order to actually make the project work. But my hope will be that kind of once we're done with all that we're going to end with something that looks again like this, but has a probably is we're going to try to put a Blackmagic Intensity Pro card in that'll give us one high definition input, one high definition output. We're going to put a video card in so that vMix can take advantage of the video card for some of its processing, as well as the ability to drive an extra monitor or 2, as the case may be. We're going to have to be careful that our video card supports VGA, because I think the monitor there is VGA only. Somebody's asking in the chat room what the resolution of the monitor is. Don't know. We don't know yet. I didn't even bother to plug it in and turn it on before I stripped it apart. My guess is that it's probably not very high resolution, and so it may be that we end up taking a monitor here out of the studio and basically taking it apart and pulling the guts out of it and putting it in that case. We'll just have to see. And we may have to do the same thing for a keyboard. Not sure how compatible, 14-year-old, Windows. I guess it would have been, what would have been Windows? Windows XP, maybe? Anyway, it will be a project. The idea is that if I can do it, you can do it. And that this will be a great portable, not portable like a laptop, but more portable than a desktop. It will essentially be a desktop PC. It'll have all the power of a desktop PC, but in a case that's kind of rugged, and will be able to go into a press box. We'll be able to be, you could take this to a city council meeting and set it up on a small, very small folding table in the back, and hook your cameras up, connect your audio, hook up to internet, and you're ready to go. I need to check and see if the motherboard was wireless. I didn't check that. That would be an oversight on my part, but I can get a USB little wireless dongle to plug in if that's the case. Not that I want to pick up the house internet, but the way phones are these days, you can go share a 4G connection on your phone and have have more bandwidth than somebody with a DSL connection. The other things I like about this whole setup is that in addition to being, this originally came with a little bag. Like a case you would use if you were flying somewhere, that has a handle that telescopes out the top and the wheels on the bottom, and so it becomes ultimately the easiest thing to push around. Now, obviously, if you're bringing a second monitor and a camera bag, that's going to be a different story. But in terms of having the bulk of everything in one box, this is going to be the bomb. This really is going to be the bomb. I found a company here in the U.S. that does sell these cases. They can be had for, I've seen them anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 for the case. It includes the keyboard and the monitor. They want to build them for you, so they want to charge you $3,500, $4,000 for it. But I'm thinking, if you can start out with something. Not necessarily this thing right here that's being used, but a $2,000 case that's got all that in it, and then add what you want to, you could probably get out the door for less than $5,000. Maybe even in the $4,000 or maybe even sub $4,000. Now you're talking, and equip it with Wirecast or VidBlaster or vMix, whatever your software is of choice. Part of it will depend, and I've still got this decision to make, about video inputs. The Intensity Pro is something I definitely want there. But, I'm thinking, okay, use. If we were to use this as a city council meeting, we would probably only want to use one camera. And so we could use one of our Canons here, one of our old Canons, HF100 or HF200, that's got HD, and we could get a pretty good picture. We could, if we were going to use this in a sporting event, though, we want more cameras. We want a capture card that has multiple ports. We could put in the Magewell card that has the 4 HDMI ports. That's I think that was about $700. I've got an Osprey 460E on the shelf. That's standard definition, and that's free, so that could go in there. Or we could get a Blackmagic Decklink Quad for 4 ports of SDI input. So those are 3 ways to go right there. I think I probably want to stay away from the easy caps, but heck, in a pinch, an easy cap is a great way to bring in audio. And I can imagine a scenario of being out at a city council meeting and suddenly realizing it would be nice to have a second camera. And of course, you're always going to bring a second camera because you always want to have a backup in case the primary one goes kaput. And then hook up a secondary camera to a second connection, and now you've got a 2-camera shoot. So somebody's posted in the chat room that there's one on eBay for $243 right now with 3 hours to go. Yeah, I saw one posted for about that price, and I ended up getting it for 100. So if you want to get one, don't be afraid to haggle. Um, they kind of come and go. At one point, a couple of weeks ago, I think there were 5 of them on there, but they wanted. I think there was one of them on there that they wanted $3,000 for. Originally, that sucker, this guy right here, he sold new for $29,000. That's right, $29,000. And so, you know, it's not a case where you get what you pay for anymore, because there's not much there. I mean, there's some that are still functional, and I'm sure they probably would do everything they ever did. But compared to what's available today, the software today is so much easier to use. You know, it's point and click to just about to connect to a CDN, and so many things that you had to manually configure 15 years ago. You don't have to worry about it now. It's all figured out for you. So anyway, it'll be a good clean canvas to build on, at least I think, and we'll see how it goes. And if I can do it, then of course you can do it. It'll be simple and fun, and we'll put it on. Other stuff we've got on the drawing boards. We're going to have an interview coming up. Not sure when, and it's not 100% confirmed yet. But Ted Kazmierzak from Tally Lights is going to probably come on, that VidBlaster Guy. You remember that's broadcast a half an hour before this show. Come on, that VidBlaster Guy, and allow us to demonstrate how his Tally Lights work integrated into VidBlaster. And I think they work integrated into Wirecast too, so we'll be able to do that. Maybe Wirecast too, but maybe into vMix. So we'll have a chance to test his Tally Lights with all 3 pieces of software. And he said that he would like to put them in our store, so we could be a reseller for his Tally Lights. So that would be really cool and fun. And we can provide support, not just for the Tally Light itself, but also for that, that kind of critical connection between the Tally Lights and the software. And then VidBlaster also added support for a new CDN called Scale Engine, scaleengine.com, in its beta version 3.34, which was released last Thursday. So you can go to the VidBlaster forum and download the new beta version 3.34. If you're not a VidBlaster customer, it'll be a trial version, and you can use that till the cows come home. The vMix 15 you can get in a trial version also, that will be good through, it's a timed trial version, and I think it's good through August. It's good through August if you're already a licensed owner of vMix. If you're not licensed, I think it's just a 60-day trial. So 60-day trial for vMix. But if you're a licensed user of vMix, you can upgrade to the vMix version 15 on a trial basis there as well, and that's good until August. So that's to look out for. What else is in the news coming up these days? There's so much going on, and it's we get just a slice of it. And I'm trying to slice that slice down into the slice that's just kind of the broadcasting, streaming stuff. I know. We're putting together a program, and if you're interested in helping us with it, let us know. We're putting together a series of pay-per-view tutorials on VidBlaster. And so for our new VidBlaster customers, we'll make that available. It's sort of a library. You can buy it on subscription for a month or a year, or you can just tune in to one specific tutorial on a particular subject. Right now we've got about 30 that we're planning, which works out to about 8 hours of video. We're trying to keep them down to between 15 and 20 minutes because you figure after a while you just get overloaded. But about 15 or 20 minutes per video. And it'll start out with basics, and then work into things that are available in just some of the higher level versions of VidBlaster, like macro functions and API and the playout controller and things like that. So that's going to be fun, and that will be something to keep an eye on for the future. Let's see what else. Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. That was enough, wasn't it? That was enough. Go back and watch some of our old shows. Boy, I cringe when I do it. But if you go to YouTube, I think it's YouTube Eastern Shore Broadcasting, and go back to some of our early shows like 2 years ago, and see how they were, and see how klutzy they were, and how. Not that I'm not klutzy today, but it'll give you hope that wherever you're starting, you're probably way ahead of where I started. So if I can do it, you can do it. I'm Tom Sinclair. This has been Streaming Idiots, and I guess someday we have to say that it's not just Streaming Idiots. It's just simple a single streaming idiot. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Take care. Join Tom live every Wednesday afternoon about 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time for Streaming Idiots, or catch him on YouTube.